So I know you're going to find this hard to believe, but it is a rainy afternoon at the beginning of February. I've walked the dog today and didn't get too wet, but this afternoon the rain has really come in. So I'm in my studio and I'm going to swatch these art markers. Now, for total transparency, I have already opened them and I have already swatched the first few. It's a 48 colour marker set and I've already done half of that, so how good is your maths? That's 24. So this is what the box looks like. It's like being in a sweetie shop. I've never used markers before for my sketchbook, and so this year I've invested in some Faber-Castell Pitt pens, but also these are called Ohuhu. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that down here. So I've got 48 colours and like I say, I've already swatched half. That's because I was filming with the camera around the wrong way. So let's just zoom out. There we go. There's my desk with my cup of tea, and you can probably hear the rain against the window panes, which actually makes it really cosy. Anyway, I'm going to swatch the other half for you, and to do that I'm going to put it on a time lapse, so I'm going to speed you right up so you don't have to sit through my boring swatching. You could just see the beautiful colours at the end. So I'll come back to you once I've swatched the other half. So that's my swatching done. I hope you can hear me over the rain beating against the window panes. They're absolutely beautiful colours. They're alcohol-based ink, and I don't know if you managed to pick up in the speeded up version, but they're double-ended. So one end is like a bullet point, and the other end is a chisel. I'm not sure how well you can see that. So I guess the way to get to know this material is to use them. So I'm going to do some artwork in my sketchbook this afternoon. I'm going to see how to use them. It says on the box that they're easy to blend. Having never used Ohuhu markers before, I'm teaching myself how to use them. So I've watched a couple of videos on YouTube. They are with the brush pens though, and these aren't brush pens, these are chisel ends and fine tip ends. But it does say on here that they're easy to blend. So I'm just going to try with 3 ways of blending them. You've got the feathering at the top here, then the overlaying, and then the layering. So I've pulled out some colours that I'm going to use to be able to do this, and just see how I get on. So I've got an orange here, and I'm going to use the fine tip end, and what I'm going to do is just do a solid edge here, but then take it into sort of a feathered edge, like so. Sadly, the ink that I used to draw the boxes are bleeding a little bit, but that doesn't matter. Just need to remember that when I do my drawing in a minute and do my artwork. So this one again, so you sort of, I'm going to feather this one as well. And I don't know if you have to go over several times to sort of try and blend it in. And a couple of the videos I've watched say that if you're a watercolourist, that you sort of use them like watercolours, so you go light to dark. So obviously I've gone dark to light, so that could be the first mistake. But it's all about experimenting and learning. Not blended too bad. You can still sort of see here. I don't know how many times you go, you can go over. Seems to be layering up really well. Yeah, so you've got a graduation there. You can still see where I've feathered. But remembering that you, like in watercolour, you go light to dark. So when I do my piece later on, I will treat them like watercolours. So that technique's feathering. And then we've got a box here for overlaying. And so I'm going to start with the green. I'm just going to do a couple of lines up here. And then I'm going to go over with a blue. And I think with the brush pens, you probably get a better effect. And remember, there's a chisel end on the other end of the pen, which is thicker. Maybe these points are a bit thin for what I want to use them for. So I'm going to go back over with the green. Gosh, I haven't used, there we go, there's a chisel end. Haven't used felt tip pens since I was a child, and it is bringing back so many wonderful memories of rushing home from school so I can get on with my artwork. So that's overlaying. And then layering, I've chosen a lighter blue, 2727. So now let me see if I can remember how to do this. The artist video that I watched, I will leave the link below. And I know that she definitely used these types of markers, because this is the reason why I've got them on her recommendation. She creates some beautiful artwork using these pens, so she's inspired me to do the same. So you can see you can layer it like I would with watercolour. So the second box is slightly lighter than the first box. And then I'll do the third one again. I don't know if you're meant to wait for it to dry like you are with watercolour, but I'll just give it a few seconds. Then I'm going to go over that last box. And yeah, you can see it takes it darker again. there we go. So 3 techniques: feathering, overlayering, or overlaying should I say, and layering. There we go. Right, I'm going to test these out now and do some artwork this afternoon. So to try my Ohuhu pens out this afternoon, I've found my old sketchbook actually. This one is a Stillman and Burn, and the reason why I chose this one is that the pages are smooth. I forgot I even had it. So I'm going to find a clear page, and I think this afternoon I'm going to start with something floral. I'm going to stick with what I know, and I'm going to do this tulip. Let me just show you the tulip. A lovely person bought these for me last week, and they are thriving, still thriving. So I think I'm going to do a tulip and see how I get on. So I'm going to sketch it first. I might go over it in black ink, but I think I might use a micron pen this time instead of, what did I use earlier on? I used this one earlier on, the Uniball one, and it bled a little bit. So I'm going to go with a micron, I think, probably the 0.05 one. So I'm going to draw this up first, and then I'm going to treat it like a watercolour. I'm going to choose the colours I'm going to use, and I'm going to go light to dark and then maybe add some detail. But I'll speed you up for that, and you can see the process in a faster way, and then I'll show you the finished piece at the end. There's my finished drawing. I'm trying not to fiddle with it too much because it's remembering that it's not a botanical piece, so it can be a bit rough around the edges, but it's trying to let go of that perfectionism. So I'm going to put this tulip back into its water, and I'm going to start swatching the colours I'm going to be using, and then I'm going to colour it all in. This is my finished tulip. Sadly, for some reason, the camera didn't record the process. So you've got a bit of me swatching and then the finished piece. So all I did was layer using the lightest colours first. So going in with the yellow and then the greens or the corals over the top. I enjoyed using these pens. It was certainly different. Although I've got 48 colours, I didn't have the right range really to do the tulip, and I've had to stop myself from fiddling because it's a very different medium to using watercolour. I think they'll come in really handy this year for using in my sketchbook, for adding layers over the top of the watercolour or gouache, and for adding extra texture. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.